Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and professional witch, and today I'm answering the question, what are other types of divination? Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. I am offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course starting at the end of September. We will be deep diving 12 of the major arcana cards with me as we embody archetypes and learn how to transform ourselves through the tarot. If you sign up by September 12th, you can get 25% off with code EARLYBIRD. Check out the full details. The link will be in the show notes. If you're interested in crafting your own tarot cards and want to get your creativity going, you can go ahead and get my full workshop, including the hour-long recording where I walk you through my step-by-step method, examples of the cards I've created, journaling questions, and PDF to walk you through it for just $33. The link is in the show notes to purchase that now. I just updated my Patreon benefits to be bigger and better than ever. So if you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast during my new moon collective tarot readings, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the lovers level. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits of the membership if you join the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. I recently, on August 21st, for the new moon in Virgo, did a collective tarot reading, and I have the replay, if you weren't able to join live, linked in the show notes as well. And this is where I will, when I get patrons at the lovers level, after the collective tarot reading, that's when I'll be pulling cards for individuals. So that is kind of where that will be. So get a taste of collective tarot reading for the new moon in Virgo that we just entered on the 22nd, I believe, of August 2025, at least in Pacific time. And yeah, see what's coming up for the next couple weeks. If you're local to the Greater Puget Sound area, you can join us at our next Let's Talk Tarot meetup group event. I just posted 4 full moon circles for the rest of this year for 2025. So my friend and colleague, Izzy, will be leading some full moon circles with me, like I said, once a month, every month on the first Sunday, at Thresholds Collective in Tacoma, doing full moon circles. So if you are local and you want to come join us and align with the full moon, learn a bit about it, do some movement and ritual, the link will be in the meetup group to join that, and to sign up. They will be paid events. And if you sign up for all 4 in advance, you get 10% off. As well, I will be posting a virtual tarot card crafting event to the meetup group soon for September. I am moving right now, and so it's a little hectic, but once I'm a little more settled, I'll get that on the books. So anyone can join for that. Obviously, you don't have to be local for that. I'll also post it on socials, so folks that aren't local for the meetup can join as well. And if you're interested in joining my newsletter list, where I have the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, musings, and more, you will also get a free PDF with my 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you, my lovely listeners, at the beginning of this year by joining the newsletter list. And finally, if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist and coach, seeing clients virtually all over from my home office. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients, so if you'd like to work with someone that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. Like I said, you can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, so welcome to season 14 here. I just wrapped up season 13 where I was talking all about divination in the Harry Potter series. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you could check those out. Season 1 was all about tarot basics. Season 2 and 3, I went through all the major arcana cards and an overview of the 4 suits. Season 4 was tarot and pop culture. Season 5, 13 common tarot spreads. Season 6, 7, 8, and 9 were the suit of wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. Season 10 was about tarot and witchcraft. Season 11, tarot and plant allies. Season 12, tarot and animals. And like I said, I just wrapped up the season of divination in the Harry Potter series. So now we are on to season 14, where I'm answering all your frequently asked tarot questions. So today I'm answering the question, what are other forms of divination? So I'm going to go into a bit of a definition and history of divination, talk about some examples, and then have some takeaways for you. All right, so I am going to be reading from the Encyclopedia of Witches and Witchcraft, the 2nd edition by Rosemary Ellen Geely, all about divination in here, since that's our topic for today. So, the art of foretelling the future, finding objects and people, and determining guilt by means of information obtained from signs, omens, dreams, visions, and divinatory tools is what the definition of divination is. Divination traditionally is an important skill of the folk witch. In some societies, divination has been performed only by special classes of trained priests or priestesses, and divination remains an important skill for many contemporary witches and pagans. Since the earliest times in all known civilizations, people have looked to supernatural sources for help and advice. In personal affairs, and particularly in matters of state. Methods of divination involve either interpretation of natural patterns in the environment or patterns that are formed by the tossing of objects such as sticks, stones, or bones. Information is obtained from the way smoke curls from a fire, the shape of an animal bone, the formation of clouds, and the markings on organs and entrails of sacrificed animals. The ancient Romans favored augury, the interpretation of flight patterns of birds and haruspicy, the examination of livers and entrails of sacrificed animals. The augurs were a special caste of priests who read the signs to determine whether the gods approved or disapproved of coming events. Dreams have always been an important medium for divining answers to questions such as scrying, or as has scrying. Oracles are persons who enter trance states. So if you listen to my Harry Potter season, we talked about Professor Trelawney, who's a seer or an oracle, because she does enter this trance state. She actually does not remember what she says during it. So popular in the Middle Ages were the tossing of grain, sand, or peas onto the earth to see what could be read from the patterns. Similarly, the Japanese set out characters of the syllabary in a circle, then scatter rice around them and let a rooster pick at the rice. Whatever syllables are nearest the grain picked up by the rooster are used to puzzle out messages. As far back as 1000 BCE, the Chinese have used the I Ching, an oracle which involves tossing and reading long and short yarrow sticks. Another ancient Chinese divinatory method which is still in use is feng shui, or geomancy, the sitting of buildings, tombs, and other physical structures by determining the invisible currents of energy coursing through the earth. So there's also this history of finding the guilty. So throughout history, divination has been used to identify parties guilty of crimes. Despite the true psychic ability, no doubt employed by many diviners, it is certain that many innocent people have been punished along with the guilty. In the Pacific Islands, murderers have been identified through examining the marks of a beetle crawling over the grave of a victim. The Lugbara of western Uganda filled small pots with medicines that represent the suspects. The pot that does not boil over when heated reveals the culprit. In other methods, suspects are forced to eat or drink various substances and concoctions, such as the gruesome stew made from the boiled head of a donkey. Whoever is unfortunate enough to choke or suffer indigestion, even a rumbling stomach, is guilty by divination. During the witch hunts of the Middle Ages and Renaissance, witch suspects were bound and thrown into lakes and rivers to see if they would float. which would mean they were guilty, or sink, which would mean they were innocent. If the sinking innocent drowned, that was simply an unfortunate consequence. Contemporary divinatory methods are, so most witches have a favored tool of divining. The tool acts as a prompt to intuition and the tuning into psychic forces and vibrations. The divined information comes in a variety of ways depending on the individual. Some persons hear it with the inner ear, others see visual images on their mental screen. Divinatory information also comes through other senses, including taste, smell, and tactile sensations. Popular tools include the tarot, rune, stones, crystals, mirrors, or bowls for scrying, dowsing, and the I Ching. Many witches also use psychometry, which is the reading of objects or photographs by handling them, and astrology and numerology are often used in conjunction with divination. Some witches divine by reading auras, the layers of invisible energy that surround all living things. Palmistry, the reading of lines on the hand, and tasseomancy, the reading of tea leaves, are used by some witches as well. In divining the future, most witches hold the view that the information obtained reveals a likely, not a fixed outcome. Based upon the direction of events, the circumstances in force at the time of the reading, the future may be changed by choice. Divination is useful in helping a person make better choices. Divination is both art and skill, and one's proficiency depends on natural psychic gifts and regular practice. For some, divination comes fairly easily, while others must work harder and longer to attune the psychic faculties. Most covens offers training in developing psychic abilities and divinatory skills, and many witches feel the best time to divine is between midnight and dawn, when the psychic currents are supposed to be at their strongest. All right, well, that was a fairly encompassing definition and explanation of divination. I loved sort of talking about some of the historical examples that maybe, or perhaps hopefully, people don't practice as much now, like the reading of entrails. No, thank you. There. So that is, again, some of our divination and history. If you want, I did in the Divination in the Harry Potter series, the season that I just completed, season 13, I talked about divinatory methods that are brought up in the series, including, we talked about tasseomancy, so reading tea leaves, fire omens, or reading smoke, palmistry, or reading palms, crystal gazing, or, using a crystal ball, astrology, dream interpretation, numerology, and those are some of the ones that are in the series. So if you want to deep dive on a specific type of divination, you can check out those episodes. I do talk about, their relation to the Harry Potter series, but then I get into, how to practice them, and how I might practice them, as well, and some of them I do live during the episode, which is fun, like doing some palmistry or doing some tasseomancy or reading tea leaves. All right, so I think I'm going to keep them short and sweet for today. So, I love to talk about the tarot, which is one form of divination. I guess other ones that I use are, I've done candle magic, so sort of, it's like crystal gazing with a crystal ball, but looking more at the candle itself instead of a ball, and looking for the smoke or different things that come to mind. I've done like energy clearings with pendulums. What else? I definitely participate in astrology, although to me astrology is very in-depth and I still am learning it. I know sort of my own birth chart, and I do some coaching that utilizes my birth chart in order to talk about some of the aspects that I'm working on of myself, and things in my business. And I use the Chani astrology app to learn a lot of things about astrology, and I listen to their weekly the week ahead on their podcast, the Chani podcast, in order to learn again more about what current astrology is like. I've dabbled in numerology, but really just on the podcast in order to talk about certain numbers. I believe I did it in my major arcana season, which was seasons 2 and 3, when I talked about the numbers associated with each major arcana card. And I've previously done dream interpretation, although I do think that dream interpretation sometimes is easier when you have a partner to do it with, like someone else to sort of like help you interpret the symbols, as well, as which is what happens in the Harry Potter series. They each share their dreams to each other, and then they sort of try to utilize the symbols and things that come up in the dreams as a way to inform what the dream might mean. All right, so again, as the book talked about, right, usually people, witches, pagans, folks that practice these things, have their preferred methods of divination. I certainly agree with the fact that I believe that divination is seeing a possible future, the path that the person or outcome or thing is currently going down, but that it can be changed and there is choice in the matter. We have free will, and that is not fixed or set in stone, and that it's like we are seeing some potential future. So I don't think it has to be this sort of scary thing, but yeah, if you want to find out your preferred divinatory method, right, you can dabble. You can listen to my season 13 talking about divination, the Harry Potter series, to get kind of a glimpse of different kinds of divination and ones you might already practice or do, and ones that are maybe more interesting to you or that you want to try out. It was also fun for me to try some out. So let's dive in and see what the cards have to say today. What is the message that we need to hear today? And I'm going to be pulling from the Herb Crafters Tarot, my newest tarot deck, by artwork by Joanna Powell Colbert and written by Letitia Guthrie. I learned that both these folks are fairly local to me, I think out of the Bellingham area in Washington. So I might try to, in the future, go to a retreat or a course that they are doing on tarot, because I think that would be super cool. Okay, well, a card fell out, so we're going to use that one. Okay, I pulled the Four of Fire, which is elder, and it is sort of elderberry season, at least where I am. So elder, you can have elder flowers, elder berries, and there are also elder trees, obviously, that create them. But sometimes people don't realize that elder flower and elderberry are from the same plant. Four of Fire, okay. Elder, which is Sambucas nigra in Latin. Make a little magic, stir up a special ceremony, holy helpers guide you and lend you power, honor the beings who guard the liminal places. So it depicts a wand being crafted on a table brimming with activity. Potions, plants, and yarn are scattered about. Berries spill out of a wooden bowl. A fire glows inside a wood stove, and an embroidered pillow of Guadalupe rests on a rocking chair draped in silk scarves. The room is cozy and full of light. Create a safe space to make a little magic. Elder provides protection from stormy weather to small creatures and tender plants. It is a striking hedgerow plant steeped in mystical lore. Invoke the aid of holy helpers like the crone who lives within the elder tree, guarding the portal between the land of the living and realm of the dead. She appears in the frothy white blossoms of summer and dark berries of fall. Practice magical arts and move between the worlds. Honor the old ones. Elderberry syrup is a sweet remedy that heals a body weakened by invaders. Build a foundation that will sustain your work so you can create the life you desire. And if you want to craft with this plant, you can hang elder boughs above the door to help your creative space to honor the threshold. You can craft your own wand. The creative process of making magical tools is transformative. Or you can make elderberry elixir and offer it to your ancestors during a dark moon and listen for guidance. And we actually just had a dark moon as I'm recording this last week. The Virgo new moon, which a dark moon is I'm trying to remember, the fourth new moon in a season. So it is rare. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes there are only 3 moons in a 3-month period, but this year we had 4. So that is a dark moon. All right. Well, so a lot of ancestral magic, thinking about boundaries and creativity, it sounds like, for today. Well, thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation and deep diving into these different major arcana cards, we'll be working together for 12 weeks of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. So you can click on the link in the show notes to check that out. Links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. You can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com, with your thoughts, questions, and more. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.